Hello, everybody. I hope that you are good. I am better than yesterday and the night before. My honestly, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to have the live today. I think I did a mistake starting my Ozempic on Friday because apparently the next 48 hours after are the ones that are giving me the worst side effects. And I'm not sure if I talked about it before, but it totally messes up my sleep even worse than it was before, because it makes me to have like a whole body generalized restless leg syndrome. And also yesterday afternoon I was nauseous, and this is also one of the side effects. But today I'm feeling much better. I finally managed to get 8 hours of sleep last night in 2 batches of 4 hours. And I will take another nap to catch up for the lack of sleep the day before. But generally speaking, I am pretty much okay. Again, a little tired because I feel like right now I need a nap. I was outside and I watered the garden and it's hot. You probably know how that is because it's probably hot where you are too. And yeah, we are supposed to have Tuesday and Wednesday over 100 degrees. So what I wanted to show you is a variation of, give me a second, let me, of a tutorial I had posted a while ago. And it would be this one. But this one is done with Cernit. And now I'm going to just work with Primo. Of course, you can use anything else, except I wouldn't recommend to use Fimo translucent. Obviously, Cernit and Pardo will work better. But you can use polymer clay, you can use even mica and mica powder, but you will have to make sure that you do, and actually let's get some mica powder in here so I can show you how to do this. So I have my clay on the thickest setting on the pasta machine, and let me get, what colors do you suggest to get? Should we go, so it's summer, we can go for a blue, we can go for a purple, is more Halloweenish, we can go for yellow, but that's too much gold like. Let's go for a green. So I have gotten the green blue. Of course, you can use any other color you want, obviously. And what I'm going to do first before doing anything else, because remember, if you put mica powder on polymer clay, if you want to stack it or roll it or whatever, it's going to make things hard because powder repels clay. I mean, it makes it not stick. So I'm going to put first a little bit of Bacon Bond here. And yes, I'm going to bake while I'm going to get these to bake while I'm doing other stuff, so you can see the full effect. And actually, why don't we do 2 different things with this? Not right now, but make sure that you do your bake and bond all over the place. And then let us grab a little bit of this. Where's mine? There we go. Because I know that, and I find it funny because I've been presenting this, the chopped method for like what, 4 or 5 years, and finally it took off and everybody's showing chopped methods. With all kinds of variations, but nevertheless, I'm going to, and I don't want to get my fingers super sticky. I might have to, but let's try first this. Now remember to make your own colors of pearlescent clay. You can always use mica powders of your choice. I always recommend nurture soaps because they are cheap and they have fabulous colors. But what you need is to get your whole surface covered with polymer clay. This is a must. If you don't have bake and bond, of course you can use liquid clay or even liquid softener. It's a good alternative. And we're going to do 2 different techniques. So I'm not making the earrings per se, I'm just showing you the techniques to make them. So I'm going to get this in 2, and one of them I am cutting and stacking to begin with, and then I'm going to chop them. But in this technique, in this specific technique using the mica powders for the chopping thing, you will be using not the things plain as they are, but we are going to squish them a little bit so we can obtain a lot of translucency and mica shift. Hi Rhonda. I'm actually thinking of changing my my members live, because normally my members live is either Friday evening or Saturday at noon or afternoon, and I am seriously thinking of changing it, I don't know, like on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, so I don't have to keep rescheduling for those poor ladies, because I'm feeling like crap because of the Ozempic. Good news though, I lost 3 pounds in a week, so I guess it works for weight loss. Okay, so I toss them, I chop them, I toss them, and now I am consolidating them properly. Enough that I can cut it in 2 slices, but you want it very well consolidated. And why you want to cut it is because you're going to use the inside as the face of whatever you decide to make. If you want to make an earring, or if earrings, or if you want to make a pendant, or whatever you decide to make. Okay. You can also use metallic pearlescent acrylic paint if you want, but try to use one that is, if you don't have a very light color, grab there's a white pearly acrylic paint and mix it with the other color that you want, because these have to be very ephemeral. I don't know how to call them, otherwise very delicate. Otherwise I would have used just plain regular pearlescent clay. So we get this. I know you cannot see a lot right now. Hold on, I lost my camera. But once they are properly baked, you will see a good deal of a difference. And again, I'm going to actually consolidate them a lot. The back, what was outside in the original slice, will have more of the powder covering stuff, so you don't want that. And I'm going to feather a little bit even. And then I'm going to put it on the pasta machine on a makings on the third setting on the regular machine on the second thicker setting. And because, as I said, you want to kind of squish them a little bit. So this would be the first one. The second one, I'm going to use the same technique that I used on those Cernit earrings, and I'm going to roll this. Of course, with the powder inside. And reduce the snake. Make sure that you keep pressing because you don't want your ends to go. They will have the tendency, whenever you roll something, it will have the tendency to go wide. Okay, now I'm going to do a little trick. And so you have one area that will be about the size, the same length as the diameter of your thing, and I'm going to cut it diagonally. And then I'm going to place this like this here, and then I'm going to cut it again diagonally, flip it over, and again diagonally. Consider once again the diameter, flip, again once again the diameter, flip until we create a full rectangle, or if you want you can make a square. It doesn't have to be a rectangle, and the principle is exactly the same. Consolidate it well. So this will make a pair of earrings. And I am going to, what the heck is this? I am going to resin them so you can see better once they are baked. Okay, and get them a little bit thinner. Try and cut perfectly in half. I didn't do a very good job on that, so I'm gonna only keep one. As I said, I'm still not entirely perfectly feeling entirely perfectly well. It's just a matter of obtaining different effects using the same type of alrighty. Let me cut it properly. And yes, I didn't cut it first because I didn't want it to get deformed as I was moving it over to the mirror. And actually I could do this too. And just to not waste, I'm gonna do a second type of thing, so a third type of thing. I'm going to get these, roll it, flatten it, and start twisting it. And this you can cut with a round cutter if you want. I'm going to cut them with a rectangle cutter because I have a tiny one here. You can do all kinds of different variations of this. The whole idea is to have a mica powder, preferably a chameleon type one, like this one, as I said, is a yellow green. It's one of the duos of Perlex. And let's give it a little bit of resin. And once again, for people who are new, yes, you can bake UV resin if it is Chinese UV resin. The American type ones like Lisa Pavelka and Ultra Dome, yellow in the oven. The Chinese one doesn't, and it also saves you because the raw clay is stuck to the baking tile. It will not lift because the UV resin has the tendency of self-doming, so it will pull on the edges. And normally you get with like little spoons type of things. And I have, because of the heat, of course, my tomatoes stopped being productive. So right now I'm looking at a lot of flowers, but one tomato on 2 plants. So it's not fun. Okay, let's put this in the UV machine first. Now, let's get the second one. Again, translucent, yeah. And we are going to do a ocean weave type of thing. So I'm going to cut this into, this is, oh, it says green. I grabbed the green instead of a blue. Just a second. So this is a sapphire blue. I don't want a lot of it. And I did use a little bit too much, so I'm going to soak up the extra, because once again I don't want a lot of it. Hi Christina, It's okay, it's late. It's what, 9 o'clock in the evening in Romania, isn't it? Okay, it's dry, so I'm going to start mixing this. So this is the best way to mix something fast. Because sooner or later it's going to pretty much mix everything together. Much faster than if you just go with the folding. It's the same principle as the making the Skinner blend. Rolling is like folding over several times. It's about done. You don't even want it perfectly mixed. Super perfectly mixed. Okay, this is good. Now I'm going to grab a little bit of this and I'm going to make a snake. Okay, give me just a minute to put this in the oven. You kinda can see, but not entirely. So let me get it in the oven so the translucent becomes translucent. Yeah, I think most of the northern hemisphere is practically bacon, so it's not right now. Here it's 1 p.m. It's 32 degrees with a heat index of 36. It's going to be, but it's not that bad right now, but we are supposed to have Wednesday, we are supposed to have 39 degrees with a heat index of, heat index is feels like 44 or so, 44, 45, something like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Alrighty, so I'm going to grab this white pearl, and if you want it more subdued, you can use white mica powder. I'm going to just use this white pearl. So I did this on an 8 on making, so that would be so, and this is about 1 centimeter. Lost my camera again. The snake, the little log, is about 1 centimeter in diameter, and this is on an 8 on a making, so that would be a 7 on a regular machine. And I'm going to roll this because you want it fairly thin. And we are going to create an ocean water effect. Yeah, I know. It's a good time to work with Fimo because it's warmer. Or even Pardo. Remember Pardo, if you have any Pardo, Pardo is beeswax based. So it would get really nice when it's warmer. I shudder to think what my electric bill is going to be. It was already like 100 and no, it was almost 100. The last one, but for end of July and beginning of August, it's going to be horrible. Alrighty. So this is going to be I'm going to try and do an ocean water effect. And I'm going to actually keep part of this here. And then do this really thin. Then just eyeball this. And this should show without being baked. We're not as good as being big, but I'll post a photo. And by the way, I didn't post yet with the last things we did with the special earrings things. I did make several variants. I didn't get around to buff them or even video them. As I said, I'm still trying to get up to date with. Okay, so now, see how I made it into a kind of like flattened half circle? I'm going to get these ones that I kept. Hey, you're not supposed to separate. Get back there. And then I'm cutting and stacking. And again cutting and stacking. And one more cut and stack. And now, see how it's cut like this, but I need these lines, so I'm going to start doing it like this, because these are the lines that I need. And even try and get them a little bit See what I'm doing here? I'm pulling them to be like a little bit curved like this. And they're going to go here. So this will be my okay, I'm going to get this through the number 4. So that would be a 5 on a regular pasta machine. I'm going to cut this. And this also on the number 4. And this should be about half of the other one. So I'm going to place these little wave bubbles in different places like this. I think I'm gonna have one too many blues. Yes, I am. I'll put it at the bottom here. So I have this, and now I'm going to deform it a little bit. We'll see how this comes out. I remember I told you that a lot of this stuff I make in my head. I have a good visionary imagination. So we'll see how this comes out. So you can use whatever you want. Going to do this. And then get these back. You only need a little bit of deformation. Grab cane cutting stuff. Alrighty. Getting these nicely, so this would be kinda sort at the bottom. There we go. These I will definitely take photos of, but we'll try to glimpse peek for a glimpse when after the UV resin is on them. So you want them to be relatively thin-ish, on the thin-ish part of. So I'm trying to create here a type of lagoon effect. We'll see how that works out. If what was in my head is similar to what is happening in real life. Literally, most of the time it works. I would say like 95% of the time it works. So let's give it some resin. I need to pull it a little bit towards me because the bottle is on its last drops and I need to hold it up, and I cannot hold it up right under the camera because I hit the camera. I didn't time when I went to put those in the oven. I know it was around 1 o'clock, but alrighty. Here we go. Amazingly, we are supposed to have I'm going to make a couple beads out of this. We are supposed to get a little bit of cool down towards the end of the week, this coming week. I mean, it's going to go down to 88 degrees. Woohoo. So this will make some really nice frosted glass looking like beads. Always when you have translucent and very pale colors and translucent tea colors, you're going to get the frosted glass look in beads. So remember when I made that, there's in the basic playlist on my channel, there's a little violet flower cane, and I made it's wrapped in translucent, and I made little translucent beads covered with super reduced violet flower cane slices, and they came up exactly like frosted glass millefiori. They were fabulous. I think they went into one of my these stashes. Okay, so there we go. And I'm going to get these together. I'm always doing two rounds with my UV lamp, just to be on the safe side, to make sure that the UV resin is properly. Okay, so I'm using the inside I'm gonna make these like little pillows inside out. And yeah, apologies for having naked fingernails, but I had to go out and water and the heat got to me, so I kinda had to semi-faint on the couch for about 45 minutes, and I didn't have time to do my fingernails. Okay, so now imagine that these will be partly translucent. And they are very delicate little beads, and they can be used for, you can insert them in a bead necklace, or you can use them for earrings properly. And there we go. Yeah, tiny and delicate. Okay, now let's see how this looks like. I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to bake them and then take a photo. But let's refocus here. So we do have the idea of waves and foam, as you can see, but imagine that it's going to be more transparent, so yeah, it looks like this one I'm not very fond of, but yeah, the whole effect came up exactly how I envisioned it. So let me bake them and then we'll see how it is. Just back here, and give me a minute to grab the stuff that's in the oven and bring it over. Okay, it is very hot, so I'm gonna put it there on the marble for a little bit to cool off. It does look fantastic. And yes, I'm going to actually get them off the baking mirror tile. So they can cool off faster. They look a little bit like jade, but not entirely. And you can, on the back here, you can just use a swipe or two of sandpaper to remove the shiny part, and these will go just like this. Of course, you don't have to use resin. You can simply sand and buff them, but with with the resin, I can show you real fast how they actually look like. So let's go ahead and look at them in a close-up. So these are the little ones that I used all the leftovers. You can see how fabulous it looks. This is the rectangle-ish thing. And you can see the mica shift on it. And this is the chop and drop thing. Again, you can see all the mica shift on it, and it is actually fairly translucent. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you try it yourselves. But yeah, and you can use practically any mica powder, but as I said, I do recommend the duo ones, because you see how you get a double color in the mica shift. So you get the yellow, the gold yellow, and the green at the same time, and it's valid for all of them because it is a duo. And the Perlex has several duos. It's got this, it's got the russet and blue, I think. It's got several, but there we go. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you try it yourselves. And there we go. Have a wonderful week, and please stay safe and stay hydrated, and don't be out in the heat too much. Okay? Thank you so much. Love you all. Bye.